higher up you can put it, and on the side of the, like on the south or west side of the house where it's sheltered, you cover thistle, because that'll be the warmest part of the cover.
Well, speaking of when we get that cold, you know, plants like that, they don't want it to be below 50 degrees. So if we're heading to 20s where everybody's screaming, cover up your pipes, that's when you need to cover up tender plants, especially and put the lights up like Kristen just mentioned. And watering everything in your yard.
Yes.
Will help protect from frost damage. Sometimes I had a gentleman come to me and say, you water everything and then it becomes like a little layer of ice on the plants that actually helps to insulate it. So, and it's periods of dry cold. So that's when we water everything in our yard sprinklers.
It seems like, but what happens is if you don't, they freeze and they collapse. And if you water in them enough to keep them hydrated, they stay. I don't remember all the scientific explanation. Bottom line,
Chuck would be out there 10 o'clock at night watering his yard when it's not really cold like that.
Are there any plants that anybody's questioned about using in pots that you're wondering if it would work? Anything like that?
So I am curious about the drip. So if you bring drip up, what kind of
Drip? Well, it depends on what kind of plants you're using, because if you have something that's dense, a lot of times we'll just do the little spray nozzle that you can open and contract according to how full it is. It works well, but when you get a lot of plants that come together, it blocks the spray from getting to the outer edges. So my favorite one is taking a little perforated drip line and making a circle of it and making sure it has the drips that are like every 6 inches, not a foot, and then just teeing it in a circle outside, because if you put it on the outer perimeter and let it soak in, it'll come towards the center. But if you start in the center, it doesn't usually get work as well. So that's what we usually use when we install.
And I lived in Orangeville. I had the drippers. I run the little quarter quality tubing right across the top here, and I had a spray head that came on all the hanging pots.
Oh, nice.
I could leave town and never have to worry about watering anything in my yard. Everything had a drip.
I just bring on the drip nozzle? I've never done this.
Yeah, they have everything now.
The plants in bougainvilleas and pots, what do you think's going to happen now?
Where are they at in the pots? On what
They
part?
are under what I would call a cloth gazebo. Or
Like this?
You know, the kind of like White Sands.
Oh, okay,
Cloth
like
ones.
portable ones.
Yes.
What is it? What part is it facing
They're on
south?
the ends. They're facing east. But I can move the pots.
Okay.
But
I bougainvillea actually do better with a little bit of shade on them in the summertime, even because
they probably get some shade. They're awesome.
I say they must be beautiful.
Well, they're beautiful. I'm shocked. I've never grown them.
And
I'm nervous about this.
I have them where if they can be against a wall, if you have a west or south facing stucco wall, I don't know if your house does.
No, but yeah, well,
anywhere they can get radiant heat off at nighttime, off of a wall and protected, that'll help them. Otherwise, I have a client that's had them for years and they're beautiful, and she just has a gardener take big sheets and clothespins them over the top of it. The other thing that she did, because she didn't want to, she has one wall that's radiant heated brick, and she didn't want to cover it up because of the visibility of it, where you can see it from the road right in. So we planted in there, it's called Jasmine humilis, it's an Italian jasmine, and it's evergreen, and it blooms. Do we have one still? They have a little yellow flower on it, filled 1 gallon containers. I brought them in for that job, just did. I thought I had extra. Anyway, they're an evergreen jasmine with a little yellow bell-shaped flower, evergreen, and they smell wonderful, and they handle the cold. So we mixed them and intertwined them. So, okay, so when the winter came in that area, the vine went bare, but the flint vine, the bougainvillea went bare, but the Italian jasmine with evergreen intertwined with it, and it protected the bougainvillea. So bougainvillea blooms out, and then she has a mix of these yellow bell flowers that are real fragrant, and her hot pink bougainvillea. Doesn't look like much, but I've got actually, I think I have a particular knot. We put it on a garage in Calusa over in Country Club. We just did it as an espalier on another house in Hillcrest, facing west, full hot sun. And this one went on these rustic metal trellises and a little narrow planter on the side of the garage. And in 1 year, it climbed all the way up. It was beautiful and dense, and it didn't mind the heat at all. Loved it.
So okay with the cold and the heat
Yep.
in both?
Yep, it's just as, and I said the only grower that grows it is Monterey Bay Nursery out of Watsonville. And when the sales rep told me about it years ago, there was one client to try it, and he said it would do. He's from this area, and he said it would do really well. So I bought one and tried it, and it's fabulous. But they're the only grower, and they only grow them in 1 gallon. But fortunately, they grow fast. So it's a wonderful, not a really well-known. This one just got through blooming, and so it'll bloom again probably in a couple of months. Let's see if I can show